going to go down as history as the longest minute of my life at 6:59.
I have 7 on
7
mine.
o'clock, okay. Being 7 p.m., February 3rd, 2026. Note this meeting is being televised, streamed, or recorded by Bourne TV. If anyone in the audience is recording or videotaping, they need to acknowledge such at this time. I do see Helen from Bourne Enterprises here. Please refrain from using flash photography. If anyone from the public wishes to access the meeting, they can do so by calling the following conference line: 1-929-205-6099, Zoom meeting ID 897-1229-3538, password Bourne all caps. The Zoom chat will not be monitored. Participants who wish to speak must raise the hand icon until the chair asks them to unmute. All items within this meeting agenda are subject to deliberation and votes. And let's have a moment of silence to recognize our troops and our public safety personnel. Salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I'm not sure if we have any public comment signed up, but public comments on non-agenda items. Public comments are allowed for up to a total of 12 minutes at the beginning of each meeting. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes for comment. Board members are unable to respond due to posting requirements of the open meeting law. I see NJ, your hand is up.
Thank you, Melissa. I just want to take a moment to recognize Debbie Judge, who passed away on January 29th. She was a 39-year employee of the town of Bourne, and she served the town very well. I worked very closely with her on capital and in sewer, and I just want to acknowledge her dedication and long service to the town. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MJ. Okay. I do not see any other hands. There's no one in the audience here for public comment either. All right. Moving on. Next item on our agenda is annual town meeting, May 4th, 2026, articles and budget and preparation. So I guess I'll just start there and then we can kind of go through the ABCD as we go. First is the discussion with the planning board, proposed zoning articles, seasonal communities designation, tiny homes and affordable lots, accessory dwelling unit, ADU, for those at home, amendments, front setbacks in downtown district. And here we go.
Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. The planning board is working on 4 articles for the upcoming annual town meeting. There is also a planning board public hearing scheduled for February 26. The articles are seasonal communities designation, tiny homes and undersized lots, accessory dwelling unit amendments, and front setback in the downtown district. At this time, I'll introduce Sean Lewis, our assistant planner, to go over some slides to explain the proposed bylaws in more detail.
Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Sean Lewis. I'm the Assistant Town Planner. I'm here to go over some of the zoning bylaw articles that the Planning Board has been discussing. So a list of these articles are right here. The first one we're going to go over is seasonal communities designation. The second one ties into this seasonal communities designation as tiny homes and affordable lots amendment. Then we're going to go into the accessory dwelling unit amendment, and then finally we're going to do the downtown district front setback amendment.
Perfect.
First, I'm going to give some important dates. Tonight is the discussion with the select board we actually just added one. We're going to FinCom on the 9th. And then planning board discussion on February 12th. And then we're going to have the public hearing February 26th at the planning board meeting. And then the warrant closes March 13th, and then town meeting is May 4th. So what is a seasonal community? Seasonal community designation is designed to recognize Massachusetts communities that experience substantial variation in seasonal employment and to create distinctive tools to address their unique housing needs. The state designated Bourne as eligible to receive the seasonal communities designation on December 10th, 2025. Seasonal communities may. So these are the tools that the state has given to seasonal communities that they can use to create housing. The first one being obtaining seasonal community grants. I'm going to go over that one a little later. Acquire year-round housing occupancy for rentals, acquiring housing units for municipal staff, biannual comprehensive housing needs assessments, establishing a year-round housing trust fund. You can designate year-round artist housing, and you can also increase primary residential tax exemptions. I'm going to go over a couple of those now. The grant program. So this year, there was 14 seasonal communities that were eligible for grants. The state gave out $2 million to those communities. The minimum a community could get was $50,000, but the maximum was $175,000. If Bourne was part of the seasonal communities this year, they would have gotten the max of $175,000. And then what you can do with that money, you can do some planning work. You can do housing needs assessments. You can do zoning updates, local planning for new housing. You can also do some direct housing activities, supporting development projects, creating a year-round housing trust fund, and accessing technical assistance. And then the infrastructure projects as well. You can do sewer and water upgrades, utility extensions, and road and safety improvements. The year-round housing trust fund, it does sound very similar to our affordable housing trust fund. It actually deals more with year-round housing and what's called attainable housing. Attainable housing, in our meeting yesterday, I know a couple of you were on it, it's for housing that's in the middle, it goes up to 250% of the median household income. So it's a little bit more than the affordable housing. And then the residential tax exemption. What this is it's a program that some communities have already adopted. This would increase the amount that you can exempt the property for. Bourne is not part of those communities, but if they wanted to, the old exemption used to be 35% of the house's value. It's now up to 50%. So then what a seasonal community must do. So these are the two zoning requirements that seasonal communities must do to become a seasonal community. The first one is to adopt local zoning to permit undersized lots to be used to be created attainable year-round housing, and the other one is the local zoning to construct tiny homes to be used for year-round housing. I'm going to go over those two. So, tiny homes. What a tiny house is, it's a detached structure containing a dwelling unit with 400 square feet or less in floor area, excluding lofts. Some of the things that they have to do is they must meet state and building codes. They must be year-round. They must meet septic regulations. They must meet setbacks, and they can only be the primary use. So the town of Bourne already allows tiny homes since they were incorporated into Mass Building Code in June 2019. Some of the things that we're clarifying right now, this is a evolving document. Right now we're trying to figure out, currently the zoning bylaw does not allow movable tiny homes. We're going to clarify the allowed use by actually putting it in the use table. We're going to restrict to year-round use only, and then allow it in all the single-family districts. If we do all of that, we would qualify. So affordable lots. I asked a question last night at our meeting with the state if our affordable lots language within our bylaw would qualify, and they said yes. But I was called again today, and we would actually have to allow both affordable and attainable housing. So we would have to change this slide. I just found that out before the meeting, but and we would also have to change it to be year-round use only. And that's all the changes we would have to make to the zoning bylaw. Moving on to the accessory dwelling unit amendment. This amendment came about because we're trying to align ourselves more with the Massachusetts general law. Currently, we're using Massachusetts general law to permit ADUs because their laws supersede ours. But the changes we need to make, we need to allow ADUs in the downtown neighborhood district, change the number of parking spaces needed. I'll go over that one in a later slide. Remove lot size requirements. ADUs must conform to lot coverage requirements still. Removing number of bedrooms, removing owner occupancy, and adding clarification for supportive finding. And then there's just some reasons why ADUs are good on the right-hand side. So bus stations in Bourne. In the new Affordable Homes Act, it said that ADUs do not need to have a parking spot if they're within a half mile of a bus station. Upon further observation of the definition of a bus station, it actually really means a bus stop. And so I've outlined all of the bus stops that would qualify within Bourne. So we're adding language to the bylaw to just say those don't have to have a parking spot there. And then the final article we're going with is the downtown district front setback amendment. This bylaw would change and allow up to a 30-foot maximum setback for parcels off of primary streets in downtown district. These are the primary streets down below. I have a map on the next slide, but to explain that a little bit, within the downtown district of Buzzards Bay, we have a bylaw that says the front setback of any primary building would have to be within 0 and 15 feet of the front. We wanted to allow any of the parcels that are off of primary streets that still have single-family homes, or we wanted them to have the ability to push the house back some more for parking and porches and other things.
Front yard.
So this is a map of the parcels. The purple parcels are the ones that would be affected with this bylaw. The white ones would not because they're on primary streets. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess we will go around with the select board. I'll start up in Zoom land and see if anyone has any thoughts, comments, questions, anything. MJ, Peter, Jean. All right, I don't see any hands. Anne Marie?
So can we talk about, we can talk about the language in the document itself, right? The amendments in section 4, special regs and, right? Okay. Where was I had a question about some of the language with the tiny house. So it has to have a trailer, but it has to be placed on a foundation, correct? But
I can
it-
answer that one. So that's
So
an evolving
it's
document.
movable, it's movable, but it's not movable? What's the
Uh,
need for the trailer if it's going on a foundation?
Sure. So with the
Because it
new-
has to be, and it has to be the primary
That's how
residence,
they
like,
differentiate between an accessory dwelling unit and a tiny home, is that a tiny home would be the primary dwelling on the single parcel.
on the single parcel, the
Yes, so
primary
that
dwelling.
differentiates it. And then the planning board and town meeting can decide whether they want it to be on a slab foundation permanently affixed or unmovable.
Okay.
So they have the choice to do that.
Currently in our bylaw, we do not allow anything on a trailer.
Right.
Outside of a mobile home park.
Right, right.
And I believe the planning board is thinking of keeping it that way. We are allowed to not allow movable tiny homes. The state has said that, so.
Right,
I think that's the direction the planning board was going, but.
But I
I'm not
thought I
sure.
saw language where it must have a trailer.
Yeah, we haven't, we're changing that language
Okay.
since our
Okay,
last
so
meeting.
that-
We haven't
okay,
done
all right.
that, so, again, they're evolving documents. This is just to give you a heads up what we're doing. so.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know if the
And then-
uses is, oh, go ahead. Ben.
sorry. Oh, go ahead.
No,
Did
no,
you have
you-
something relative to that?
Well, yeah, it was just so the uses, because it goes from real property to real estate, if it's not a fix. So I wonder how that works with the tiny homes, We, in real estate, right?
Right,
If
right.
it's a trailer, it's like owning a car, even if it's on a property, because
Well, it says it has to be registered with the Massachusetts
Right.
Registry of Motor Vehicles. Is
So
that
it is
not?
similar to a
It does?
mobile home.
If it's
The
a
tiny
movable
house?
tiny homes, they do have to be registered.
Real
So,
property, yeah.
okay, so, but in this language, it's going to be
The language that you have is going to change
Okay.
significantly from what
okay.
it is.
So it doesn't have to be registered with the Registry of Motor
It-
Vehicles because
if it was a
it's gonna be
movable
on
tiny
a-
home, it would have to be registered.
Right, but we're
with-
not allowing
Where you-
movable tiny houses.
Exactly.
Okay,
primary
that was
dwelling,
where the
exactly.
confusion came in when I was reading the language. And then on the, in section special residential uses 4264, P, it says any residential housing built under this section shall not be used as a seasonal home or short-term rental of less than 6 months and shall be used as a year-round housing. I thought 10 months was what the state regs or the statute was the recommendation.
It does say 10 months.
Okay, so
I
what
was
is
at the meeting
6?
last night
Yeah.
as well, so that I'm going to
So is that gonna
as
change?
well. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
We're also going to have to add attainable housing to that section as well.
Yes.
Is what I
Yep.
found out last
Yep.
night. So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, so those are all things that are going, that you are on your radar and are going to change. Okay. And then, so one of the, something that came up yesterday at the workshop was, the tiny house is the principal dwelling on this lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is an ADU gonna be allowed? And because tiny houses are 400 square feet.
Technically, yes.
So if someone comes to you and said, "Oh, I want to have an ADU
But the
because my
ADU
in-laws
could
are
only
gonna,
It would only be able to be
50.
200 square,
Okay.
200 square feet.
200
so-
square feet."
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, technically,
Yeah.
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 But
And okay. And is there language in here that because I know the planning board is the authority on this by permit. I thought I saw language that might suggest that you would allow more than one tiny house.
I
In,
put it in
certain
there as
areas?
a question to see if the planning board wanted to allow more than
Okay.
one or not. I added as much questions as I could. I
Okay.
read all the other seasonal communities' zoning bylaws and figured out what they had done, and I tried to add every kind of language that they did so that we wouldn't miss anything.
Okay.
So right now those are drafts.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Okay. Peter, MJ, just one more thing, anyone? I see your hand, go ahead, MJ.
Okay, I think all of this information all presented together is very confusing. And I can see a lot of questions coming to town meeting.
Mhm.
I will raise some of the concerns that I have about some of the things that I've seen in the draft. One is removing the owner occupancy restriction on accessory dwellings. That was a big selling point for accessory dwellings when town meeting approved it. That this is an opportunity for someone who owns a home to add an accessory dwelling that would help them be able to afford their home. What it would look like if there's no owner occupancy, that we're all of a sudden we've got like a primary home and then another accessory dwelling home and the owner doesn't live there. I'm just listing my concerns because when I listened to town meeting, these were things that I thought people thought were beneficial.
Yeah,
I find it troubling that the owner of a property has to be in the tiny home. So can a tiny home be an accessory dwelling? Because that would make a lot of sense to me, that a tiny home is an accessory dwelling and it's added to provide seasonal, year-round, worker like home. So why does the owner have to go in the tiny home and why can't it be an accessory dwelling?
Sure.
I agree with Anne Marie, all the language about trailer movable on the tiny home was extremely confusing and that definitely needs to be cleaned up. The other question that I didn't see in the seasonal communities designation, and I don't know if it ended up in the final law, was anything about deed restriction. Because in a lot of one Cape, we've been going to one Cape for like, I want to say 3 years, and all they've talked about is Vail, Colorado, and deed restrictions and deed restrictions. And I don't see anything here that talks about deed restrictions and whether it's allowed or not allowed. And I want to understand that because it was a strategy that was very successfully utilized in Vail, Colorado. That was a lot of the impetus for some of the seasonal communities designation. I'm also interested in what it means by lot size, smaller lot size restrictions, being able to not do lot size restrictions. And what does that exactly mean? How small can a lot go? Are we talking about allowing like an R40 to be A&R to like 4 lots, which would be quarter-acre lots? That might make sense. I mean, one of the things that you see in the real estate market on the Cape is that Sandwich and Mashpee, which have a lot of quarter-acre and third of an acre and half-acre developments, have homes that are more affordable because there's less land. And right now, the land for my home is worth more than my home. So, I think that these are things, I think there's a lot to deal with in this, and that the planning board's gonna have to spend some real serious time thinking about what each of these things mean and how they're going to explain them and how do they make sense. I'm totally agree that we need to do things, but I think there's a lot here and I have a lot of questions, and I spent a lot of time looking at this and talking at Simla about it, and I'm concerned about going into a town meeting of people that really aren't aware of the conversation and putting all 4 things on them in one town meeting is, I'm concerned about informational overload. I think that's all I have to say. I don't know if you have any answers, but.
Yeah, I can answer, I think, all your questions. So first off, the deed restrictions for the seasonal communities, you're allowed to do deed restrictions for year-round housing.
I think that should be in our presentation.
It was.
I didn't see it.
Okay, it's on page 5.
It's there.
What was the first question? That was a lot.
What was can you repeat your first question, MJ?
I don't know which one was first.
I remember it
Removing
was.
the owner occupancy?
Yeah.
We're removing owner occupancy. That's a state law. We right now we can't make them occupy either the ADU or the primary dwelling. So that's why we're removing it out of our zoning bylaw. And then the affordable lots. Right now in our zoning bylaw, we allow 10,000 square feet and 75 feet of frontage to be used for affordable housing. The state is right now putting new restrictions on that. It's going to be 10,000 square feet or 25% of the smallest lot area you can build on within the zoning district. And then there's going to be regulations for setbacks as well that they're going to give us. So we're just waiting for those to pass, and then we'll be able to add those. But currently, our zoning bylaw would pass, except for we'd have to add the setbacks and also just the language to make it attainable as well as affordable.
So they're changing the frontage, you said?
They have language for the frontage, but it's not official yet, so I don't want to bring it
Okay.
up. But
Because
we're
ours is
waiting
80
for them
feet,
to
right?
say. I actually have it right.
Minimum of 80 feet of frontage on a way.
Oh, yeah, I think it was.
And then
Under the Affordable Homes
I don't want
Act,
to speak
or-
out of. I don't want
That's
to say
fine.
the wrong
That's
number,
fine.
but there is a number out there that we're waiting to get.
I think we're gonna need some examples of what that means. Is it unbuilt, is it lots that haven't been built on? Is it lots that have been built on? I mean, where could this apply?
So there's a lot of lots within the town that would apply to this. They're currently not being built on because they have to do affordable housing on it. This would allow them to do attainable housing, which would be 250% of the median income of the town. So it actually gives them a little bit more flexibility to build on these lots. Yeah, and we're doing four zoning articles because I have a huge list of articles I'd like to get through. So
I don't think this
Seasonal community.
seasonal community designation, I don't think needs to be a town meeting article. I don't know if it just needs to be.
It does.
It
It
does.
has to be
Okay.
adopted by town meeting.
Yeah, because they're
Okay.
changing
No, the actual designation.
the. Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not a 2/3 vote, but it does have to be adopted by the town meeting.
All right. I see a hand up. Go ahead. I can't see. It's Liz.
It's Liz
It's
Brown.
Liz,
Okay.
yeah.
Liz.
Yeah, I have a question, MJ asked, and I didn't hear the answer. Is there a reason that a tiny house can't be an ADU? She was concerned that because it has to be owner occupied, that seems to be a restriction, which it is. But do we restrict having a tiny house and using it as an ADU?
No, the only restriction on a tiny house, it does not have to be owner occupied. It can just be, it has to be year round, and that's it. And we actually allow tiny homes to be built right now. It's just a 400 square foot house. It's the same thing as building a ranch. We're just adding it to the use table to make it more forward.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that she heard that. I just missed it, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Jean, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess sitting in on the Zoom session the other day with the state, having a background, hearing a background of some of this definitely helped with the presentation. It is a lot of information. I think it is confusing. I think you will have a lot of questions. And the owner being on the site was a topic of discussion when I was on the planning board with the ADU. Just to piggyback on the tiny house, you're saying the state would have us also change the tiny house to year-round only?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify
we
that.
adopt-
I'm
yeah.
curious- Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
curious
if
to
we
hear about
adopt the
rest of
seasonal community, we have to have tiny house, yes.
Correct,
That
yeah.
was the,
So,
one of two.
curious about how the discussion will go, discussion of the public hearing. So,
It's a lot
it's a lot of work. And I appreciate having gone through what we've been through with signs. small bits is definitely easier for people to digest. So you have a heavy lift ahead of you. So good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. I see Corinne, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Yes, a question on the tiny homes. I'm reading it. I'm switching back and forth trying to read it and be on Zoom. But it says that it must be on a movable trailer and attached to a foundation.
I know.
That seems contradictory to me.
It's or attached. So that's for discussion for the board.
No, it does say and. It is supposed to.
And then
in other communities. So I'll explain it. But in our next iteration of the tiny homes thing, the movable tiny homes is not going to be there. So that might solve this issue. But with these movable tiny homes, they actually have a foundation down. They put anchors in onto the tiny home when it's a movable one, so it can't move around. That's kind of what other communities have done.
They anchor them, yeah.
Oh, I don't understand what's the purpose of it being on a trailer. You saying that it doesn't have to be on a trailer?
It's
up for discussion.
Up for discussion for the board to discuss.
Maybe.
Go
Okay.
ahead. Come on up.
Yeah, sure. Hi, John Duncan. The movable tiny homes would not be allowed in our residential districts. In some communities they do, and the law would require them to be bolted down to a foundation. But we are not considering now accepting tiny homes on wheels in any residential zoning. And we don't have to conform to the Seasonal Communities Act designation. A tiny home that we're talking about would be a home that sits on a foundation or a slab as any other residential home would. Only the 400 square foot or smaller would be the qualifying dimension to qualify as a tiny home. And so I don't think the planning board is considering anything on wheels to be used, and I don't think it's going to be an issue with the final version. I think everybody has to remember this only came to us mid-December. We're getting new information almost daily as to what the state wants to change to. We are cognizant of all these issues, and we'll make sure to do a good job and simplify this as best as possible. And MJ, I'm happy to come by tomorrow to show you how many you can fit on your lot.
Yeah.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Awesome, thank you.
Peter's hand is up.
Go ahead, Peter.
Yes, I think this is going to be a discussion. It's just not going to be just one meeting. I think this is something that's going to evolve all for the spring as we get ready to go to town meeting. Where I sit on the Affordable Housing Trust as your representative, I would like to hear and see what they think of this whole initiative. And in some ways, I'm excited to see this because people can't afford to live here in town as it is. If we can find some way to make it more affordable for a legitimate housing use and to help that out, then I'm all for it. But just approving it, just for the sake of it, I want to make sure that we cite these in the best part of town and make sure that they fit within the character of the neighborhood itself. And I just don't want an eyesore just dropped it just for the sake of doing it. I want these things to conform and make sense. But at the same time, I mean, we'll have a lot of discussion during the course of the spring over this, and I'd love to see what the planning board and the Affordable Housing and the Finance Committee all have to say through this process before we make our recommendation on behalf of the Select Board this spring later on.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Yeah, I mean, I think that all the tiny houses that I've seen have been almost prettier than some of the houses I've seen that we have built in town, so. With that said, I see a couple hands. Corinne, was that your same hand, or did you have another question?
That's my same hand.
Okay. MJ, yours is up.
Yeah, I have, could you please, on these documents that are draft documents, put a watermark that says draft? I think it's very confusing to see a document that's not marked as draft and say, well, the planning board hasn't decided yet. I think it's really important so we don't get confused. And I also, the slides from tonight, please have those provided to the select board as soon as possible. You went through them quickly, and I want to make sure that I am able to dissect them. Yeah.
Well, they gave us a really robust presentation handed out to take home, but we could make sure you can get a copy of that.
Yeah, we'll send it.
Yeah, I'd like it emailed, but electronically is better for me anyway, so. Thank you. I appreciate all the work. I know I ask a lot of questions and I make a lot of comments. There's so much to absorb, and I do appreciate all the work that's gone into us, and I think there's a lot more that's gonna need to go into it. I agree with Peter that there's gonna have to be a lot of discussion, and to be able to nail it down so that it's really concise and well documented by the time we go to town meeting. I think that's really clear, really important. And I will reiterate what Jean said about the signs. Having things clear in the mind of the planning board is not always communicated to those of us who are not as in depth with it. So a lot of work to be done, and I appreciate you all tackling all of this. So thank you very much.
And thank you to the planning board. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. We have a discussion with the town clerk regarding dog license fees and vital records fees. Somebody online, I'm assuming?
Barry, he's
Oh, I see
to the
Barry.
left of Peter.
Okay. Go ahead, Barry, you've got the floor.
His mic is unmuted, so you should hear us.
Are you having trouble with that audio again, Barry? I know that happened before. For some reason, the audio is not. Is there any of your assistants anywhere on there might be able to take over or join in?
Thanks, Sean.
Barry, maybe try to call in? I don't know.
We'll move on and come back to him.
Well, we're going to move on, but unfortunately, the next agenda item is our town board workshop.
Actually,
The budget.
Oh, yeah, we
update.
have the planning and logistics. Okay, the budget updates and amendments. Okay, I missed that completely. Let's go there, and we'll wait for see if Barry can get on. Thank you.
So, I have received some new information just today about the budget. Erica and I had about an hour conversation with Superintendent Forget from Upper Cape Tech. And as you know, last week, we had a pretty in-depth conversation about what Erica was seeing on the preliminary cherry sheets. Superintendent Forget has had a chance to look at the preliminary cherry sheets and how it affects his school. And unfortunately, we were informed today that the budget number in your book for Upper Cape Tech is about approximately $380,000 short for FY27. So if you recall, last week we talked about the preliminary cherry sheets and a potential of about a $350,000 shortfall based on those, generally based on those major areas of retired teacher health insurance, school choice, and charter school numbers. So now we've got that issue and the Upper Cape Tech's issue of a $380,000 shortfall. I have confirmed with Superintendent Forget that he will be able to attend your March 3rd meeting to discuss this with the select board. I am not an expert in education financing, and this is a specialized part of the budget. So Roger will be joining us on March 3rd, but this is gonna be tough. This Superintendent Forget also gave me an update about where things stand for rising freshmen at Upper Cape Tech for the 2026-2027 school year. And he did confirm that 101 current 8th graders from Bourne have been accepted as part of the lottery that closed on January 5th. The students are still within their time frame to their window of deciding whether or not they're going to accept the offer. And they have a couple more days before that window closes. However, at this point, about 90% of that 101 students have accepted the offer. And there is a requirement that there is a second lottery that will be in the spring. So this number could potentially go up after the second lottery. So I'm not the education expert here, but I think this certainly is an important piece of information that we have to talk about. I don't know the exact number of 8th graders in the Bourne Public Schools right now, but if we're looking at triple digits, 100 plus students leaving 8th grade and going to the Upper Cape Tech School, I think this needs to be discussed with the impacts of that for the freshman class at the high school. And I am working with Dr. Joe to schedule a joint meeting with the select board and the school committee. As you know, their budget request on the town side is at a 3.7% increase, and that is after all of the offsets have been applied. So the gross budget increase is higher than that.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
The Bourne Public School budget in the book right now is at a 3.7% increase after all of the offsets have been applied to it. So the gross budget increase is somewhere higher than that. So I think we're at the point where we really have to kind of start getting our mind around what's going on here and how we're going to fund an additional $380,000 for Upper Cape Tech on top of kind of what we're already seeing. So
$350 from the BPS.
Yeah, so the cherry sheet number, again, they're preliminary. You know, they are preliminary. There can be some changes, but these are,
But what has been the trend
These are some
with cherry sheets?
They don't change by
Significantly.
hundreds of thousands of
Hundreds
dollars.
thousands, right?
There could be some small changes, but they're not gonna change
They're
by
not
hundreds of
significant.
thousands of dollars. So this is gonna be a serious gap here that we're gonna have to talk about. And as you know, I'm already defunding positions on the town side. And I've taken a pretty sharp axe to shared costs. So,
And there's still some unknowns.
yes, so actually, that's a good point. There are some unknowns. Obviously, the cherry sheet
I
is
see the
covered.
hands up. We'll get to you in just a few minutes. And somebody's gotta get muted. Maybe that's Barry?
Barry's on the phone.
Barry's on the phone, so I think you're getting an echo.
I'm not getting it, no. He's on twice, so he's gonna have to take one of his off. That's what it, cause he's logged,
Yeah, he
because
just
he
got-
has a Zoom, the internet and the
Right,
phone.
yeah.
He logged off the phone where he should have done the internet. He should have kept the phone on and logged off the other.
Logged off his laptop.
All right, so,
right.
I'm sorry, Marlene, go ahead.
So there is still some uncertainty in the budget. We're working with preliminary numbers for cherry sheets. We still have not received the final assessment for Barnstable County retirement. We're still using their placeholder number. We've got the placeholder number plugged in for health insurance. We are meeting with our advisors later this month to review claims data and trend analysis. I'm hoping that we can just hold that where it is and that doesn't get any worse. Erica will need to adjust the debt for both the general fund and the enterprise for the short-term debt after the sale. So as you know, she's been working on this sale and still has to button that up. And as you are well aware, the patrol union contract is still open and is not funded. So that will certainly require funding when that is settled. So I will say I was not expecting this. This was, none of us were expecting this, and this is kind of,
Big hit.
this is a big hit.
All right, wow, okay, so I guess I'll start up top. Peter, I think I saw your hand first.
Couple of things. If 101 people have applied and are duly accepted over to Upper Cape Tech, I think this is a bigger problem of what's going on between the 8th grade and the 9th grade that they want to leave Bourne Public Schools. I mean, we need to find out and see if we can correct that problem. And I know that's a school committee problem, not ours, but when it starts affecting the overall budget, I think we need answers on why this is happening, and see if we can correct it. I mean, is Upper Cape doing that great of a job that everybody wants to go, or is the Bourne Public Schools not doing their job and people are leaving? So I would like to I would like to see a joint meeting to see if we can figure out that answer. And maybe this is a question for Superintendent Forget, is can a community put a cap out there saying you take no more than this many students as a way of controlling the budget, so we're not hemorrhaging as much as what's there. So I'm just wondering, what options we have, because we got to get to the bottom of this. The cause of it, the root cause of it, and at the same time, we got to figure out where this money's going to come from. And so I'm concerned.
Thank you. MJ?
Yeah, I have a couple things. First of all, I want to clarify, the rising freshman does not, as far as I understand, affect the FY27 budget.
That's correct.
Rising freshman is a potential for next year, the October 1st enrollments being up. And the FY27 budget is based on the October 1st enrollment of 2025. Is that correct?
Yes, that
Yes.
is correct.
Yes.
Okay.
There's the immediate.
So it's not, that rising number is a number for future concern, and it is a trend that's been a number, because I believe last year, Superintendent Forget let us know that there were more students going to Upper K Tech last year, and it didn't affect the budget last year, so there was some confusion about that. So it is a trend, and I think that as a select board, we need to be asking our school presentations to include enrollment, so we know what the current enrollment is, and we can then know what the enrollment is that the budget's based on, but we can have, especially for Bourne Public Schools, we see all the years, so that we understand when we look at the budget what 101 students means for next year. That's one thing. I think, and this is probably a future agenda item, not for discussion tonight, I think the board needs to have a future agenda item to discuss the cherry sheets that have proposal from the governor. I mean, the whole select board was at Connect 351, and there was a speech from the governor about how she was increasing UGMA and increasing Chapter 70, and it all sounds good until you look at the other side of the ledger and realizing they should be getting less money. So I think that the board needs to have an agenda item to discuss drafting a letter that we would formally as a board write to the governor and to our legislators, our state reps, Vieira and Zaros and Senator Fernandez, and say this as a budgetary impact on us as a municipality is truly difficult and hurtful. And I think it's important for us to make a formal statement and to include in that a copy to Mass Municipal Association, because they are trying to advocate for more funding for municipalities, not less funding for municipalities. So I think it's an issue. It's been happening as a trend for a while, and we don't tend to discuss the assessments piece of it, and it's important for us to do that. The other thing is, I think we want to think about, we've been separating out the school presentations where Upper Cape Tech comes to one meeting and Bourne Public Schools comes to a different meeting. I think we might want to consider having them both come to the same meeting, because I think it helps understand and communicate to everyone exactly what's going on. And we're in a tough situation this year, and open communication where everyone's hearing the same thing is, I think, really important. And as we talked about at our last meeting, I think the school choice reduction, charges, I don't know if that gets, I'm not clear. I know the school choice money incoming goes directly to schools. I don't know where the outgoing. I don't know if the outgoing comes out of them or it comes out of the town side. So we need to really get a handle on some of these things. So those are my comments. I think we're in a really tough situation, and it's important for us to continue the discussion. But I do think it's important for us to make a statement as a board on these impacts and to communicate that to our legislators and the governor.
Thank you, Andre. Yeah, I just want to add, Peter, I respect you very much, but I almost take offense to your comment. I think that, in my opinion, I think our schools are doing a great job. And I don't feel that, honestly, that our students are leaving because of any sort of, malfunction at our school system. My granddaughter's in the 7th grade, and she wants to go to the Voc simply because she wants to take a trade. I mean, it isn't because she doesn't like Bourne High School or she doesn't want to go to Bourne schools. It's simply because she wants to be a nurse. So I just feel, I don't think that there's anything, I don't think that people are leaving because of the way they're, anyhow, I just wanted to add that. But
Bourne Public School and Upper Cape
Yes.
Tech do each of them outstanding
Outstanding.
educations for our children in Bourne. And, vocational schools right now are in a renaissance.
They're in a-
And
right.
a lot of, for several reasons, none of which is because the other schools aren't capable of providing an outstanding education. Otherwise, why are our graduating seniors going to Ivy League schools and being accepted to Ivy League schools?
And we have a 92% graduation
And we have a
rate.
92% graduation rate. There's so much involved in that decision making across the Cape. You look at the demographics, you look at choices, you look at the number of 1.2 is the average number of children per family, per household. You look at the rising cost of housing. People can't afford to live here, so they're not sending their kids to school here because they can't afford to live here. The housing crisis, it all plays a part.
Yeah.
None of it has to do with not being able to educate the children in this community. As a former elementary school teacher and a former almost 9 years on the school committee here in Bourne, that is not true.
There's, through the chair,
Yes, go ahead, Peter.
hold my hand. There's no one here that's more supportive of both Upper Cape Tech and Bourne Public Schools than me. I've been supporting them my whole adult life. I frequent both schools to attend their events and to support them when I can. But the optics of it is there are 101 students or whatever, over 100 students applying to Upper Cape Tech, and I guess this think we and maybe it's your offering. I don't know, but I just think we just need to have a discussion on why this is happening. That's all I'm saying. It's not because they're not. If something's going wrong, well, maybe I did say it that something's going wrong with Bourne. I mean, but I just think we just need to figure out why they're doing it. I think that's all, because it may be an unintended consequence, but
At the end of the day, Peter, sorry for interrupting, what is most important as our role as leaders in this community is the education of every child in the district, and how do we support that? It doesn't matter to me if they go to Bourne High School, if they go to Upper Cape Tech, that at the end of the day, it's about the children in Bourne and offering the best education for them, period. Whether 100 go to Upper Cape or 2 go to Bourne High.
All right,
Well,
so
and
All
also
102 deserve the education.
No doubt, I agree with you with that. But just as an FYI, Barry's online. His phone number is on the screen.
all right, Barry, we see you there. Can you do a test? See if we can hear you.
Hi, how are you?
We can
Oh,
hear
we
you,
can hear you.
Barry. Perfect. So we will.
Well-
Thank you for the conversation related to that. We can maybe, if we're done, do you think we're okay on that? We've got some discussions, of course, to be had, and it's very serious.
The only thing I want to say is, March 3rd, Roger is coming here to your meeting on March 3rd. Dr. Joe has asked if the select board is available to come to the school committee meeting on March 4th at 6 p.m.
It's hard for me to do the 2 days in a row, but I can. Is it virtual or is it an in-person for the school committee?
I mean, I
They have
think
both. They have hybrid.
They have hybrid, so I can do that
pretty
day,
sure
but
they
I'm
have
just
hybrid.
not sure if I can do both of them in person, because they're the day out next, like one day and then the next day, and I've got like a full calendar, so I have to squeeze them in as it is.
so. Dr. Joe's not available to come here on
3rd.
March
Yeah,
3rd.
that's okay.
So she's asking if the select board can go to the school committee on March 4th. I think given the budgets that we're dealing with here, I think it's important that
With
we
it, yeah.
get in the same room and talk about this.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're having their public hearing tomorrow.
Yes.
Let's keep the 4th on and see how it goes for me. Is that
I'm
okay?
available.
Is that okay? I was just going to ask. Is Anne Marie? I mean, MJ, Peter, Jean? Does that work for?
I have a conflict on the 4th. I might be
Yeah.
able to do it, but I'd be also interested in knowing when they're making presentations to the finance committee.
Both.
Because, you know, we have done joint budget things where everyone hears the same thing, and with the school budgets, it might be a good idea. And I actually would prefer, if we were gonna do a joint meeting, to do it with the finance committee and the schools than to do it at the school committee. So,
Well, unfortunately, the finance committee is available March 3rd, and the school committee's not available till the 4th. So I don't know how we could do that.
Both superintendents will be at the finance committee on March 16th. If you want to, I don't know if you want to have
March.
preliminary conversations with them before the finance committee budget hearing, but both superintendents will be at the finance committee budget hearing on March 16th.
March 16th. Okay.
All right, excellent. Does that answer your question, MJ? Okay?
yes,
Okay.
and, you know, well,
Kind
I'll
of.
have to see if I can make any kind of adjustment for the 4th.
I know I have something too. I'll have to
Yeah,
weasel
I
it
mean-
myself.
Yeah.
I
I think I have library building committee, but that's usually the budget.
The school committee is at 6.
It's at 6. I can always excuse myself for that.
Okay.
Leave
All
early.
right.
Okay.
We'll stick to where we are, and hopefully we can all make that happen. All right, so we're going to backtrack, and we're going to talk to Barry. We have dog licensing fees, Barry, and vital records fees. That's all we got for you tonight. You have the
Thank you
floor.
very much. Thank you very much, and I apologize for my technical difficulties. I'm going to go very quickly because I know you're busy. And I just want to, a little by way of background, quickly. As part of the preparation of the FY27 operating budget, Marlene charged us, as well as other departments, to take a look at any and all fees that we might charge, and if there might be any adjustments in there. So to that end, Harriet and I've been working on this, and she pulled down a survey of other towns that's available through the Mass Town Clerks Association, as well as the Cape and Islands, etc. And so the 2 articles I filed, if adopted by the town, we're estimating would bring in an additional $22,000 in the general fund for FY27. I'll break it down very quickly. You have the both articles. So I'm looking at the one for the dog fees, and I'd like to make some notes on this. That presently we license over 3,000 dogs in the town. And under section 3.129, section F of the general bylaws, which is the licensing fees, there has not changed these fees since the October 17, 2005 town meeting. So I think that you have the fees in front of you. I think they're reasonable adjustments. I don't need to go through all of them. And the licensing date of March 31st is not changed, and the $5 late fee has not changed, which would be in effect of April 1st. And again, not changed to be enforced by any dog officer or the police officer in town. So, as you can see, we think these fees are very reasonably increased, and this should generate about $9,000 in extra revenue.
All right.
Any questions about the dogs?
No, looks good to me. Anyone else?
Okay, well, thank you. We'll move right on to the vital records. Again, these changes, as it turned out, have not changed since the annual town meeting of 2011. And the only way we can change change the town clerk fees for vital records is subject to Chapter 262, Section 34. So again, you have the current, and these are proposed. The last one you see, the marriage intention going from 25 to 40. As you can see, this includes one certified copy of the marriage certificate. If you came in now and needed a copy, a certified copy, we would charge you $10. So we feel that this could generate about $13,000 based on the number of vital records that we do, which includes birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, marriage intentions, and other documents. So combined, between this would generate approximately $13,000 in revenue for 27. So I think that they're reasonable fees, and I think since the time has passed, since they've been adjusted, that's the reason that I filed the 2 articles, and I think this brings us, if adopted, this will bring us more in towards the middle of the pack versus other towns. So Harriet and I are proposing these, and I think they're reasonable increases.
Thank you, Barry, very much. I guess we'll go around. Any thoughts, comments? I think it's pretty cut and dry, and they're really not that much of an increase if you look at it overall, considering 2005 was for the dog license fees and 2011 for the vital records. It seems like it's time. So
Yeah, I think the state average is 20. We're still under state average.
yeah, we're still under. So all right, thank you very much, Barry.
I thank you, and I apologize for my telephone.
That's
Thank you very
okay.
much.
It's
These things
okay.
happen.
We got it. We made it. All right,
Yeah,
moving
thank
on.
you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Barry.
Town meeting planning and logistics is next, right?
So I don't know if the board wants to discuss.
Before we move on to that, I just want to say that the current 8th grade class is 144 students as of October 1st.
I have all the grades.
So we don't know how many people applied to Upper Cape Tech. We know 101 were offered places.
They accepted
And
all
everybody,
students who applied
yeah.
for every town.
There was no denials.
There were no denials.
Okay,
Every town,
okay.
every
All right,
application
so
was accepted.
101, but that does not tell us how many students are going to Sturgis.
Correct.
Or other alternatives.
Correct.
And so I think this is a really important, the Upper Cape Tech budget is based on the number of students as of the last October 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true of the Bourne High School and Bourne schools, or if it's on their projected enrollments. I think this is definitely a conversation that we need to have with Bourne about how many outgoing seniors there are and how many incoming. And also sometimes there's unintended consequences. We have an 8th grade class going to the high school, and now the 7th graders are coming with them. And, you know, sometimes there's unintended consequences in a decision that you think might work and be beneficial. Sometimes other people are going to look at it as being beneficial. So I definitely think it's a conversation to have. And thank you. Now we can move on to town meeting. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Okay.
I wanted to leave some space for the select board to talk about anything from the finance committee joint meeting yesterday.
I'll go around the room, I guess, if anybody has any comments. I think we all got it out pretty good last night. It's just a matter of thinking about what we want to do. I don't know. MJ's shaking her head no. Jean, you're all set, and Peter, you all good on that? Yeah.
No additional comments.
Yeah, me either. I don't think. I think we all said it.
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh, go ahead, Jean. Please go ahead.
yeah, sorry. Perhaps we should consider having town council weigh in and just make sure there's no conflict with the
Yeah.
charter.
That's a good idea. Maybe see what his thoughts are on that, and how does he perceive the charter versus administrative duty versus select board versus FinCom duties. Thank you, Jean.
Thank you.
All right. So number 5 is the select board workshop, and it's check-in regarding our annual goals. I'm honestly not comfortable doing this. I'd like to table this agenda item. We have 2 people in the room, and this workshop is really, these aren't the kind of conversations that we can have over Zoom with 2 people sitting in person and the rest of us on TV. So I would like to see if the select board would be willing to table this agenda item until we can all be present and communicate effectively.
Motion, we defer this action to a future meeting.
All right, I have a motion from
Second.
Peter. Okay, motion from Peter. Second from Anne Marie. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. Anne Marie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
MJ?
Abstain.
Melissa, yes. 4,
4, 0, 1.
0, 1. All right, so next is the consent agenda. We have appoint Jay Harrington to Historical Commission as an associate member for a term ending June 30th, 2026. Appoint Kay Fleming to Recycling Committee for a term ending June 30th, 2027. Appoint T. Nee of the Education Scholarship Committee for a term ending June 30th, 2028. D. National MS Bike Ride use of town roads from June 27th to June 28th, 2026, with the condition of no parking in Taylor's Point. Do we have a
Motion,
motion?
sir.
Oh, there you go. We have a motion from Peter to accept the consent agenda as presented. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Anne Marie. Any further discussion?
Everything's in order?
Everything's in order, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Okay, Anne Marie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
MJ?
Yes.
Melissa, yes. 5, 0, 0, unanimous. Chair vote yes. Okay. Town administrators report.
Thank you. We are in the process of migrating to the new website, and the staff are currently training on how to use the new site effectively. There will doubtless be some bugs along the way, and we are working hard to get everything functioning as accurately as possible. Please be patient with us as we work through the public launch. As the select board members may recall, representatives from Gale Associates were at the Archives building on December 4th and 5th to conduct an evaluation of the water infiltration occurring there. I received their report yesterday. The facilities director and I have a meeting scheduled with the chair of the Board of Governors and the engineers from Gale on Thursday to better understand their findings. Once we understand the scope of the deficiencies, we can talk about how to revisit the capital needs of this building in the context of the larger capital program and all of the school and town funding requests. The bids have closed for the intersection project at Shore and Barlow's Landing Roads. The low bidder was Mass Pavement Reclamation Incorporated with a price of $259,902.11. I have issued a notice of award, and we will get them under contract soon. Hopefully, construction will be starting later this spring. An update regarding the plan for the old dredge materials left in Monument Beach. Once the trucks and loaders are released from snow and ice duty, we plan on stockpiling this material at ISWIM for any future beneficial town use, including possible fill, cover, and potential beach nourishment. We are in the process of completing a composite sieve analysis to ensure that any reuse of the material is compliant with the town's permits. Our goal is to have everything moved to ISWIM by May. 2 updates on local legislation. First, the House passed the Article 97 Act for the county land on Wednesday, January 28th, and it has moved on to the Senate side. Secondly, the governor's bill for the fire station borrowing authorization has moved out of the Election Laws Committee yesterday and is pending with the House. Finally, in January, ISWIM diverted 2.56 tons of food waste from the landfill. And that's it for me tonight.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have no minutes. Committee reports. Anyone? I think Jean gave the meeting and Peter gave his update on his thing last week. Correspondence, Jean.
Correspondence, February 3rd, 2026. A, Chapter 91 Waterways Application, 24 Wings Neck Road. B, Phillips email regarding police department staffing. C, Silverbrand email regarding Bourne staffing. D, T, Gassman, Talent Bank Historic Commission. And E, Chapter 91 Waterways Application for 233 Scraggy Neck Road. That's it.
All right, thank you.
Minutes. Did we skip down?
We didn't have any.
We don't have any this
There's
week.
no minute.
Oh,
Future agenda items related to correspondence and other items for future discussion. MJ had mentioned something for future discussion. What was that again, MJ?
Cherry sheets.
Cherry sheets, yes.
To talk about having correspondence with the governor and the
Yeah.
legislators and
Yeah.
MMA about the
Sounds
cherry
good.
sheet, state funding.
Thank you. Next meeting dates, February 10th, Select Board, just for the people at home, and for the record, I will be in Washington DC, and Vice Chair Sarunian will be chairing that meeting. February 24th, Board of Sewer Commissioners, March 3rd and 17th, Select Board, March 24th, Board of Sewer Commissioners, and do I have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
All right, I have
Second.
a motion from Anne Marie. We backtracked it this time. Second from Peter. Roll call vote. Anne Marie.
Yes.
Jean.
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
MJ.
Yes.
Melissa, yes. Vote chair, 5.
Sit down.
Thank you.
All. Thank you.